好的，大家晚上好，欢迎来到园林区直播间，我是园林区黑走，很高兴在这里和大家见面了。那今天是我们 Web3 Infinity Hackathon 的特别活动 VC Talk 的第3场直播。Hey guys, good evenings. Welcome to the third session of VC Talk in the Web3 Infinity Hackathon live stream. I'm Hazel from Force Community. VC Talk 呢，顾名思义就是由我们 Web3 生态系统当中的 VC 来介绍投资 Web3 的方式和他们喜欢的一些项目的类别，也是我们基于黑客松来给大家选择的一个特别的一个课程安排。那 VC Talk is a special program that will feature VCs in the Web3 ecosystem about the way to invest in Web3 and category the projects that they prefer. It is also based on the fact that we will witness the birth of new crypto stars at the hackathon, and it is crucial for new projects to have funding and resources from investors. 那首先我们的第一环节介绍一下我们的无限 Web3 黑客松，作为我们新加坡峰会此次最强的周边赛事，那我们的黑客松目前已经汇集了上百人来报名参与。在这里呢，我们也鼓励更多感兴趣的朋友们不要犹豫，向我们投递你的作品。目前我们的报名通道已经是于7月1号就正式开放了，将在北京时间8月17号23点45分前截止报名。参赛团队均可通过 DevPost 平台来提交符合要求的项目。那 Firstly, please allow me to introduce the Web3 Infinity Hackathon to you guys. As a crucial sub-event to FIL-Singapore Summit, we have already received hundreds of applications for this hackathon, and the number is still growing up. So please do not hesitate to submit your project through DevPost before August 17th, Beijing time. The registration portal has already been opened on July 1st. All of those qualified projects are welcome to join us. 那第二个环节，我们话不多说，就回归主题，我来为大家隆重介绍一下我们今天的嘉宾，来自我们分布式资本的投资经理 Kobe 陈先生，他将为我们分享如何在 Web3 领域进行投资。So now let's get straight to the point tonight. Let me introduce you Mr. Kobe Chen as the investment director of 分布式 Capital. We are delighted to have you tonight to talk about investing in Web3. OK， 那我先简单介绍一下分布式资本给大家。分布式资本呢，是我们亚洲第一家，也是最活跃的专注于区块链的风险投资公司。2015年在上海成立，由横跨区块链和传统金融行业的资深人士组成。其使命是推动全球区块链生态系统的健康和可持续增长，并积极作为其投资组合项目的长期战略合作伙伴。分布式 Capital is the first and most active blockchain-focused venture capital firm in Asia, founded in Shanghai in 2015 by ventures across both blockchain and traditional financial industries. 分布式 mission is to drive healthy and sustainable growth in the global blockchain ecosystem and actively work as a long-term strategic partner to its portfolio projects. 接下来我们就让Kobe 来开始今天的课程吧。那 Kobe， 请你就开始你的屏幕分享吧，我这边结束我的。
OK， 可以开始了吗？这边看得见吗？
可以的，可以的。
OK， 我现在有全屏吗？
没有。
可以把它全屏一下。
对，我看一下。现在是全屏吗？
现在是的。
是全屏是吗？
已经开始吧。
OK， Hello, everyone. My name is Kavi Chen, investment director from Bushy Capital. So, today I'm here to talk about our view on Web3 investment. So, for today's topic, let me elaborate our investment thesis by talking about our history first. So, we Bushy Capital, we are one of the first, most active, and the most influential blockchain VCs. So we are founded in 2015 with a mission to drive long-term sustainable and healthy growth of the global Web3 ecosystem. So as Hazel mentioned, we actually started in Shanghai. We are based in Shanghai, based in Asia. And we right now, we have about more than 300 portfolio companies so far. Right now, probably after last year's investment, we probably got around 400 profiles right now. So our general thesis on doing investment in blockchain is that first of all we are very blockchain native. We believe blockchain unlocks new models of value creation driven by open decentralized network. So we are not looking to adapt blockchain to existing models, but more interested in inventing radical new models. So decentralization, which we think is very, very important concept in modern thesis for doing investment in the whole blockchain space. Secondly, so we think it's we are very people driven. We believe a team's agility and ability to execute in this hyper speed industry is the most crucial factor for survival. We seek out the most talented founders and invest in fostering their development. And also, lots of people doing investment in Web3 may know that most of the investment that we're doing in this field are much at earlier stage compared to the normal Web2 investment. So people are more important than compared to the Web2 investment. Third, so we are very long term. Since 2020, our founders have been bullish on the disruptive potential of blockchain through several boom and bust cycle. So adoption takes a long time, and we align ourselves with partners who have the same long-term horizon. So no matter what period of we are at right now, we are always looking for very long-term projects. Fourth, so we are very collaborative fund. So open decentralized networks are built on the premise that network effects between different participants strengthen the network. So in the same way, we drive collaboration between our founders to build a strong ecosystem. And also one thing from our investment we can tell is that normally we are not likely to take the take the whole round for particular investment round, unlike lots of Web3 investment firms are likely to do. So we always want other fund to invest in projects together to build the decentralized community together. So speaking now about our portfolio, we invested in most of the verticals in the blockchain industry. We generally prefer infrastructure type projects in each verticals. For example, for NFTs, we generally do not invest in PFPs projects, but rather in NFT related tools such as NFT related storage tools, NFT data analytic tools, NFT lending protocols. So most of our portfolios are outside China. We cover both equity and the tokens. And some people here may know our story actually began with Ethereum. So you can see that on top of the page, these are three founding partners of our Bushy Capital, and Dr. Xiao and Mr. Paul actually are the first to invest over Vitalik. Vitalik was our co-founder, and he's now served as an advisor to our board. So as I mentioned, our story began with Ethereum. So most of our investment come around Ethereum. We believe that Ethereum is and will be the best layer one in the industry. Thus, we have done lots of the investment on top of the Ethereum. For example, we have portfolios such as Infura, Block Daemon, Consensus. These are very highly related to Ethereum itself, and also we do invest in layer 2 projects on Ethereum as well. And Layer 2 is a very good example. Like we are the investor of like an Arbitrum. So outside like Ethereum, like we invest in projects that are cannot be like directly built on Ethereum or something hugely different from Ethereum. Like for example, like we do invest in lots of like middleware projects for like app developers. This kind of tools might not be like directly using Ethereum, but trying to combine Ethereum and other service together. For example, like Filecoin, combine Filecoin together, some of the middlewares, and also we invest in some project like Filecoin Infinity Hackathon, this kind of project that are doing something like hugely different from Ethereum. Like for example, like Filecoin is a good match with all other layer 1 projects out there. And for other example, Infinity is a much more like specific, much more how would I say, as a special project that to me is kind of a combination of like Filecoin, Ethereum, and other middlewares together. Is working as a supercomputer. It's like doing something totally different from most of the blockchain projects out there. And also like for example, like a Polkadot, they are building like cross-chain projects, which is a little bit different from most of our like a bridge solution out there. So like we would like to invest in some projects that are totally like different from Ethereum. And so like that's the reason that we actually generally don't like to invest in other like we generally don't invest in other like copycat projects on other layer 1 projects. As you can imagine, like we don't invest in some new DEX on other layer 1 project, because like we have already have some of the DEX on the layer 1. But like for example, like we do invest in like DeFi projects built on other layer 1. Is because this kind of some kind of like DeFi projects that they cannot be built directly on layer 1 Ethereum because of the the TPS or the all these kinds of problems. So like for example, like we do invest in some like derivative projects DEX like built on other layer 1. So yeah, that's how we like do investing, like in general. Like so like today, because like I'm speaking at the Web3 Infinity Hackathon, which is a seventh event of Filecoin in Singapore. So I would like to talk more about the Filecoin today. And so as an like early investor of Filecoin, like in order to support the Filecoin ecosystem, we actually launched a Filecoin Eco Fund last year. So the Filecoin Eco Fund was closed on last March, like with Bushy Capital, and the Labs are like cornerstone investor, and we also like have participation from leading mining service providers, investment institutions, public chains, wallets, and other industry leaders to our fund. The fund will like invest in like projects related to IPOs in Filecoin ecosystem. So actually, I Kobe Chen. So I'm actually like responsible for Filecoin Eco Fund at Bushy, and like also like Filecoin Eco Fund, I'm also like responsible for other data storage and computation related projects, because like these three parts actually come together. So like for our like Filecoin Eco Fund, we are focusing on four types of projects like listed on the page. So the first one is distributed storage products involving IPFS or Filecoin. Like so, for example, like products such as like decentralized Dropbox or like decentralized like AWS fits into this category. Just like so give people some examples. So like for Dropbox type of project, it's not that easy for a user to achieve co-working experience based on the Web3 architecture as Web2 products provided. So also like like for like decentralized AWS project, like besides storage, developers also have to tackle with the computation problem. So I am only mentioning about like some of the very obvious question here. Like in reality, like developers have to tackle with much more like problems come with the decentralized architecture. So it is not in like easy work to build these kind of distributed storage products. using IPFS or Filecoin. Secondly, so like for dApps using like IPFS or like Filecoin as a storage solution. So like these types of projects are much more like general. Like you can imagine like most of the NFT projects out there like fit this category. So yes, so like thirdly, so for like a DeFi project related to Filecoin. So DeFi projects on Filecoin is somehow a little bit different. DeFi on other chain, like it's not different. It's a little bit different from the traditional like DeFi project people usually talks about. So like as some people may know, like storage providers on Filecoin network, they require to pledge lots of collateral in the form of Filecoin. So there exists a market need for Filecoin lending platform. So for such lending platform on like technical level, there are some ways to build it. First type of lending platform is obviously a centralized exchange, just like centralized exchange as like Binance or FTX. Lenders get Filecoin by over collateral. So like in early days, it's normally like over collateral, like very very high interest rate. But right now, like there exists some advanced lending platform that require less collateral because of the whole mechanism of the Filecoin. So if if people are interested, you guys can actually check the products offered by CoinList or Anchorage, and also I think Dharma Capital. So Dharma Capital actually provides CFTC regulated swap products out there. And but I mentioned like DeFi right here. So like for DeFi project, it's not that easy to build a fully decentralized lending platform in early stage right now. So here comes some like technical like difficulty. Like first of all, like that's about the cross chain problems. So first of all, like developers, they need to like figure out the bridge. Or I would like to say the wrapped Filecoin questions, because for the bridge for the wrapped Filecoin, lots of like bridge out there, they are designed in a centralized way. Of course, like people may know like some action like Huobi, they provide H file, which is like a fully like centralized backed wrapped Filecoin. So but as some people may know, like FBM Filecoin VM is coming soon, and so FBM might help help the ecosystems to solve the problem. So like using FBM, like developers might be able to build all like DeFi logic on Filecoin directly. But like on the other hand, we still need like wrapped ETH or like BTC or the stable coin on Filecoin network first as well. So this is on the debit side. So on credit side, like storage providers, they might require to have multi-sig on their miner ID so that they can using their like private key as a part of collateral, so that like can help to achieve the full like decentralization for this kind of like lending projects. So like we are particularly searching for fully decentralized DeFi projects that can be built on a Filecoin. So so it's not that easy to build that. And finally, so projects like deployed on the Filecoin chain, such as layer 2 toolings in the future dApp. So first of all, like for layer 2, like the layer 2 here is also like a little bit different from what we normally talk about like on other chains, so such as roll up or sharding. So as some users or developers on Filecoins may know that like it's not that easy to use IPFS or Filecoin right now like directly. So probably like cold storage might be the best scenario for like using IPFS or Filecoin right now. The performance of like IPFS or Filecoin like cannot fulfill like users like daily requirements for for Web2 people. So the layer 2 right here, it means like Filecoin is intended to speed up the network, which can be something like a caching layer, or maybe it's a CDN layer, or maybe it's an indexing layer for Filecoin. On Filecoin, there exists lots of like data on it, and people do need some kind of like indexing service for this kind of data, and like finally people can, based on this kind of like indexing data to build a, Google on Filecoin, something like that. So, and also like for like a future dApps, so one category I would like to talk more about is data DAO, which will be like powered by FBM as well. So I think so on the blog of the Filecoin Foundation, there is a like very clear definition of data DAO. So through the, so here's the like definition. So through the pooling of resources from individuals and organizations, people will be able to incent the preservations, curation, augmentation, and the processing of shared interest in all like public good data sets. Data DAOs like use tokens and NFTs as units to represent and compound value, and exchange those tokens to demand service, grant access rights, and more. So I mean, the whole definition of like data DAO it sounds not that like easy to understand. So like give you guys a like better understanding of the data DAO. So I think one of the good example out there is actually the graph. The graph is actually a like very good example of data DAO. Although like the graph they never like call themselves as a data DAO, but like as the definition that like Filecoin Foundation given, like actually the graph is a very good example. So I can give you like a quick like intro to the graph. So the graph is like an indexing protocol for like organizing blockchain data and make it like easily access with like GraphQL. And so like in the graph system, there are like there are 4 types of people. Consist of graph network. One is like indexer, curators, and delegators that provide like service to the network and serve data to like Web3 applications. And they also have like consumers use the application and the consumer data. So like indexers are like node operators in the graph network that stake like graph token in order to provide indexing and the query processing service. Indexers earn like query fees and indexing rewards for like their services. And for like delegators are like network participants like who delegate the graph token to one or more indexer. So delegator contributors to like securing the network without like running the graph node themselves. And also for like curators are like very critical to graph like decentralized economy. So which is like also like very important for like or other data DAOs as well. So like for curators in the graph, like they use their knowledge of the Web3 ecosystem to like access and the signal on the subgraph that should be like indexed by the graph network. Through the Explorer, like curators are able to view network data to make like signal and decision. The graph network rewards curators who signal on like good quality subgraphs with short query fees that the subgraph like generate. Curators like are economically incentivized to signal early. So these queues for like curators are important for indexer who can then process or index the data from these signal subgraphs. So the key difference for like the graph and the data DAO on Filecoin is the source of the data. So like as people may know, like the graph is like utilizing the blockchain native like data set, all the data that the graph is trying to curate or like indexing. They are like mostly like smart contract data out there. And so while like data DAO on Filecoin is like utilizing data mostly like from real world, like you can imagine like that it requires higher level of data processing or cleaning on such kind of data set. Curating such data sets is harder as well. So for like most of the data DAOs, like if they are, for example, they are processing with IoT data, you do need like people like who expertise in IoT data set, so that they can curate the good data for other people to use it. So that's something like the data DAO can do. So so as we can see, as FBM is coming, we will think that FBM will unlock the potential of the all these kind of real world data set. And I think the Filecoin Foundation is hosting a DataDAO hackathon just recently in Toronto, Canada. So if developers are interested in DataDAO, you can take a look into that. So if you are a building project that fits the above category, please reach out to me. So this is my how you can contact me. And yeah, thank you very much for having me here today.
OK， 好的，非常感谢 Kobe 陈先生给大家带来的精彩讲解。那我陈先生，您这边可以先休息一下，这边先来分享一下我的屏幕。
谢谢。
好，非常感谢。OK， 那我们就进入下一环节。下一位嘉宾呢是来自 Outlier Ventures 的项目经理 Ruth Gavin 女士。Outlier Ventures 加速开放的元数据 Basecamp Web3 加速器和 Ascent 计划，促使技术、文化和金融的融合。All right, so many thanks to our Kobe Chen for giving us this amazing sharing. Our next guest tonight is Mr. Ross Gavin as the program manager of Outlier Ventures. She's going to give us the sharing next and about Outlier Ventures, accelerating the Open Metaverse, Basecamp Web3 Accelerator and Ascent program, enabling the convergence of tech, culture and finance. 那接下来请月游这边帮我们播放一下视频，感谢。
Hi everyone, I'm Ruth from Outlaw Ventures and I manage the IPFS Open Metabus Basecamp. So I'm very happy to be speaking to you as part of the Web3 Infinity Hackathon. I'm sure there's some fantastic teams right now working on some really interesting solutions. So I look forward to seeing what you come up with at the end of this hackathon. So today I will share a little bit about Outlier Ventures and touch on the types of projects that we invest in. I'll also give you an insight into our upcoming IPFS Open Metaverse Basecamp. We've just opened up applications for this and we'll be kicking it off later. Yeah. So in case you haven't heard of Outlier Ventures, we are a startup accelerator for Web3 companies and have been around since 2014. A bit about our origin story. So Outlier Ventures started off incubating R&D projects, in most cases over several years, from token design all the way to rolling out networks and customer go-to-markets. So in 2019, almost 6 years into the company's journey, Jamie Burke, our CEO and founder, and the OV team at the time, took essentially everything that they knew and condensed it down into this intense 3-month program called Basecamp. They brought together this amazing network of leading Web3 investors, founders, and entrepreneurs, as well as senior executives from major corporations. So we've just finished working with our 16th cohort and have supported over 140 teams. And the number of companies we work with is growing rapidly as well. So we are protocol agnostic. We work with the leading protocols through dedicated programs that enable us to increase value to startups and tap into the wider ecosystem that these protocols and partners bring as well. So to talk to the Outlier Ventures Open Metaverse thesis, at OV, we think about the development of this space in terms of the stack of technologies that's required, all the way from the front-end software and platforms that users interact with to the back-end infrastructure. So we aim to expand this highly synergistic portfolio in what we call the Open Metaverse. I'm sure many of you will be familiar with this already, but in its essence, this is about building a common economic layer built from shared open source protocols and infrastructure. This is one where people can create, generate, and participate in open economic value, wealth creation, and transfer. And through all of this, you're really making it as accessible and inclusive as possible. So right now, we're at the point where we're seeing the convergence of a number of technologies, including blockchain, IoT, AI, VR, and AR, all intersecting in this space. And new business models and solutions are required to fill in the gaps and enable the true realization of the open metaverse. So we're looking to accelerate startups, building on top of an open infrastructure, and making this vision of a more open metaverse come to life. This includes, working to improve the functionality of the Web3 stack, solving key challenges or problems, and exploring new use cases and experiences in the space. So there's two main programs at OV. We have our Basecamp. This is for early stage startups that need to focus on token design, traction, fundraising, and community. And we've also got our Accent program. This is like the graduate program for these early stage startups that have raised over 1 to 2 million. And they will then work with OV as they scale. So as I mentioned, we've accelerated over 140 teams. At the top of the slide, we have a few of the names that have recently come through our Filecoin Accelerator program. So companies like Glitter, Metropolis World, Functionland, Made for Gamers, and Pollinations. We also have other Basecamp programs at OV, and on the slide are a few you might recognize. So we've just announced and opened up applications for the IPFS Open Metaverse program starting in October this year. The thesis for this Basecamp sees the protocol lab stack as foundational components of the Open Metaverse. And in setting out this vision and thesis, the team at OV were looking also at the thought leadership coming from Juan Bennett, the founder of Protocol Labs, and in particular, the keynote he provided at one of our diffusion conferences in the past. So we're really thrilled and stoked to be collaborating with the team at Protocol Labs again to create the IPFS program that leverages the combined network and support of both companies to help builders and users in this ecosystem really accelerate their business. So the IPFS Open Metaverse Basecamp will work as a complement to the ongoing Filecoin Basecamp, and we'll be sourcing and accelerating open metaverse projects that are utilizing IPFS or Filecoin in their tech stack. So the startups we're looking at broadly fit into the categories on the slide. So NFT media and tooling, DAO technology, gaming, and social experiences. So how do we support you during the Basecamp? We support startups over a 3-month fully virtual program, as well as the next 2 months as we help you fundraise. So we bring the OV superpowers and help you with all aspects of your Web3 startup, from token design to governance, distribution, marketing, legal, fundraising, and so on. So we really do it through a mixture of 3 components. Firstly, we've got our people. So OV subject matter experts are really world-class experts that you get direct access to as a startup in the program. We then have the amazing guidance from Protocol Labs, and this isn't just the technical integration of IPFS or the Protocol Labs stack, but it's also looking at the wider vision for the business. So the team at Protocol Labs have been instrumental in their help for previous members of the cohort, questioning assumptions made in the journey and so on. And then we've got our wider network of mentors as well. Secondly, we've got our partners. So this is the wider network of partners, and we plug you into there from day one. Give you exposure to investors, VC, corporate investors, business angels, and syndicates, as well as support from previous founders in the alumni portfolio. And then thirdly is process. So this is all about helping you and your team get to your best operational excellence self. We help you set priorities, track goals, and create discipline in the execution and support you to make you accelerate essentially within this execution framework. So our people, so you'll see on the slide, this is our management team at OV. It represents, a multidisciplinary approach. So we have Jamie, our seasoned founder, and we've got the rest of the team bringing in technical, operational, and marketing expertise. And then this is an overview of our specialist in-house teams. So we've got 40+ experts from a range of domains. And our network of mentors. So this spans investors, sector experts, domain experts. And domain experts within the metaverse can be very niche. It might be hard to get advice. So this is a good way to connect you into specific areas. We have connectors who might be able to help you reach out to people that can get investment running or help with strategic direction, as well as former founders in the space that can share experience and give you advice. And yes, as mentioned, we've got the support from Protocol Labs as well. So they introduce their network into the mentor roster and include exceptional founders that have leveraged IPFS or Filecoin in the past, and they can advise you also on the entrepreneurial journey. In terms of our partners in the network, so we have exchanges, startups, investors, and the wider Web3 communities. So there's really a lot of great value within the ecosystem that OV can bring to the table. And we make sure you get connected to the right people and thinkers in the space and make sure your startup gets the visibility it needs to get traction and successfully hit the market. So we're looking for a few things. Firstly, we take 8 to 10 promising companies. We keep cohorts small because we really want to provide everyone with a tailored experience for their business and provide opportunities to network with other founders to become closer with each other during the time. Our thesis, we broadly look for projects within categories of NFT media, gaming, social experiences, and tools for DAOs for this particular Basecamp. So if you're solving a problem in any of these areas, we're really keen to hear from you. Even if you don't fit squarely within one of these, still keen to hear from you and review applications and so on. And if you're thinking about if this is the right program for you, I think as long as you're leveraging IPFS, Filecoin, or the wider Protocol Labs stack, then this is probably a good fit. And what we offer. So for this, we provide about 100K investment with also potential follow-on investment and support during the program so that you can really just focus during this time. And through this program, you access all-around expert support, so strategy, product, token design, legal, fundraising, community, and access to both OV and Protocol Labs ecosystems, so mentors, investors, and other founders. Our goal really is to unblock you and make sure you're successful as a founding team and unlock the next level of support. So a few key dates for our upcoming IPFS Open Metaverse Basecamp. So applications close on the 6th of September if you're interested in applying, and the program will start on the 3rd of October and run for 12 weeks. So if you want to get in touch and find out more about Outlier Ventures or our accelerator, feel free to reach out to myself or the team at OV. The easiest way is probably to book in some time via the QR code on the slide or via our website at Outlier Ventures. So all the best during the hackathon. I really look forward to seeing some of the results at the end.
好的，非常感谢两位嘉宾给大家带来的精彩讲解。那相信大家听完之后，对于如何在 Web3 领域进行投资，一定有了更深入的一个了解。All right, so thanks so much to our guests tonight for giving us amazing sharing, and I believe our audience must have a deeper understanding of how to invest in Web3. 那对于想要重新学习一遍，或者说错过了本场直播的朋友们呢，大家也不用担心，我们所有的中英双语对应教程直播课程都会上传至园林区的 B 站和 Force Community 的 YouTube 频道，以供大家进行学习和参考。 For those who want to watch it again or fail to attend in time, don't worry. All of our live stream videos will be uploaded to our Bilibili and YouTube channel respectively in Chinese and English. Make sure you check them out. 那到这里呢，我们今天的直播分享就结束了。主持人要再次鼓励大家来报名参与我们的无限 Web3 黑客松，分享丰厚的10万加美金奖金。同时也希望朋友们持续关注我们园林区，我们的下一次直播是在本周五的晚上6点钟，同一时间大家不见不散。Oh, that's all for today, and I'd like to once again encourage you to sign up for the Web3 Infinity Hackathon and share the huge prize of over $100,000. Meanwhile, don't forget to tune in our live stream channel, and our next live broadcast will be at the same time at Friday. See you guys at 6 p.m. Okay, bye bye.